Keith Haring, social activist, painter, and sculptor, was born in Reading, Pennsylvania in 1958 to engineer and cartoonist parents. He was inspired at a young age by his cartoonist father, as well as popular culture at the time, like Dr. Seuss and Walt Disney. In 1979, when he graduated high school, he enrolled in the Ivy School of Professional Arts in Pittsburgh, though he dropped out after 2 semesters and went to move to New York. There he enrolled in the School of Visual Arts. Keith Haring entered this scene of the art world at one of the most influential and important times in history, becoming friends with other artists and creators like Jean-Michel Basquiat, Kenny Scharf, and Andy Warhol, to name a few. Between 1980 and 1985, he redefined what graffiti was or meant at the time to artists and the public. He would go on the subway and get off on stops with his secret weapon, which was a piece of chalk rather than spray paint, and would start drawing quickly on these blank ad spaces. This showed a lot of how he felt of American pop culture at the time as well, as these spaces would be muddled with advertisement. So what better place to showcase these drawings? This challenged society and political power at the time, and most often he would get arrested for defacing public property. His drawings would come alive and take no gender form, and would often incorporate themes of love, life, death, and birth. His most featured form would be of the radiant baby. Themes of sexuality, war, and his political views would take form in his other works, as he was a huge political activist and spoke out against the use of illegal drugs, safe sex, gay rights, and especially the most silent movement at the time being AIDS, as he was openly gay himself. Haring was diagnosed with AIDS in 1988. In 1989, he established the Keith Haring Foundation, its mandate being to provide funding and imagery to AIDS organizations and children's programs, and to expand the audience for Haring's work through exhibitions, publications, and the licensing of his images. Haring enlisted his imagery during the last years of his life to speak about his own illness and generate activism and awareness of AIDS, and also that it's okay to be openly gay and to talk about it. This influenced much of his work, and he reached great fame and success with his artwork, as they served as a platform to finally give people a voice and feel heard, as well as spread awareness and create a community for these individuals, and again, to remind them that it's okay to be openly gay, and also, as a society, we should be okay with that as well. His legacy will live on with his paintings, and I feel honored to have some of his work right here in San Francisco. This sculpture is called Untitled, or Three Figures Dancing. This sculpture was initially located on the corner of Howard and 3rd Street outside the Moscone Convention Center in the Soma District in SF, and then was moved to the DeYoung Museum Sculpture Garden in 2014, right in Golden Gate Park, for an exhibit called Keith Haring, The Political Line. This sculpture is enamel on aluminum and is a part of the collection of the City and County of San Francisco, and was commissioned by the San Francisco Arts Commission and Convention Facilities Department. This sculpture stands about 10 feet tall or so, but there isn't an exact measurement, so see picture of me standing in front to scale. Three Figures Dancing has 3 aluminum figures that are blue, red, and yellow. They take no traditional female or male form, which was a hallmark of Haring's work, as many of his artworks included gender-neutral subjects. He often challenged this notion of sexuality and gender in his works, but this one seems more non-political, as these pop art figures were seen numerous times throughout his work. The forms are dancing, as in their title, and embody the feeling and emotion that a lot of Haring's works displayed. The sculpture seems intended to be used in public spaces, and is definitely intended for and as public art. Haring creates an environment not just in Three Figures Dancing, but also in all of his artworks, as he invites the viewer into the space to take in the feelings these figures radiate. The color choice of the red, blue, and yellow are also very effective in this sculpture as a hallmark of pop art. The use of these colors also allude to the nature of his artwork being gender neutral, as well as race or even ethnicity neutral. Red, blue, and yellow aren't indicative of any race, which I find as a very amazing work to have in a public area, as it includes everyone. One can draw that maybe when we, revoke or take away our feelings and beliefs associated with gender, sexuality, and race, then we can truly experience happiness. The harmony and balance of this figure also support this theory, as they seem to be perfectly aligned and connected by each part of the body. You see the blue figure is connected to the yellow figure by the feet as well as the arms, and same with the red, connected to both the yellow and the blue by the hands and the legs. This artwork may also point to a simpler time in life without everything that was going on. At the time, Keith Haring was doing the sculpture in 1989, and the viewer almost feels like a child again, especially when the light casts a shadow on these figures. It looks as though children are dancing at the playground, all in harmony, unison, without a care in the world. This playful nature of Haring's work is definitely evident in the sculpture, as well as with his other artwork and pop art, as there are usually lines in his paintings around these figures to show movement or dancing. The themes of love, acceptance, tolerance, equality, and happiness are definitely evident in this sculpture in particular.